If you're seriously considering starting an Amazon FBA business this year, then here are 5 things that you need to know in order to maximize your sales, your profits, and your chances of success. Registering an Amazon FBA seller's account so that you can start flipping products for a profit, well, that sounds like it should be pretty straightforward, and it should be. But this is Amazon we're dealing with, and if you haven't been told already, they love to throw curveballs and make simple things as difficult as possible. During the registration process, you're going to be asked what type of business it is that you're running, with 6 options to choose from, one of which says none. I am an individual. Now, if you're just getting started and you've decided that you want to start Amazon FBA alone, you might think that this option is the right response to go for, especially as Amazon doesn't provide any more detail or guidance on what each of the other options presented means. But selecting this option is a huge mistake if you're somebody that is actually looking to sell on Amazon to make a profit. And that's because hidden in their seller documentation, Amazon defines an individual as somebody that isn't aiming to make a profit on their sales. They're simply there to shift a few items around the house in order to recoup what they paid. Therefore, if you choose this individual option, you're going to very quickly get suspended for having the wrong account type. And that's going to happen as soon as it becomes obvious that you're actually in this game to make a profit. 9 times out of 10, the right option to choose when making your seller account is therefore going to be privately owned business if you have your own company, or sole proprietor if not. Choose these options if you don't want to be stopped by the Amazon gods before you've even started. As soon as you've created a seller account with Amazon, the very first thing that you need to do before anything else is to go to the help section and then raise a case with seller support, where you're then going to tell them that you are VAT exempt. And that's going to be the case if you're based in the UK and you haven't generated £85,000 in sales in the last 12 months. So that's probably going to apply to the majority of people watching this video now. The reason that this is super important to do is because being classified as VAT exempt by Amazon, that means that they're not going to increase the fees that they charge you by 20%, which is the VAT rate. Doing this means that you get a massive advantage over your foreign competitors, because your fees are going to be lower than theirs, and because of that, your profits higher, allowing you to run more discounts, get more sales, and increase your ranking position in the search results, which can have an impact of doubling or even tripling your business's performance in the long run. If you're not familiar with how VAT works and whether you're likely to be classified as VAT exempt or not, then speak with my recommended accountant, Awesome, who are a digital accountancy firm that specialize in Amazon FBA. At the moment, they're running an offer where you get 2 months of accounting services for free, and you can grab that deal by visiting the link in the description below this video. Every single year, Amazon increases the amount that they charge their sellers as part of their annual fee review. But as part of this year's fee review process, they also silently introduced a new rule that could mean that your product is deemed to be far heavier than it actually is, which sounds kind of strange. When assessing the weight of a product in order to calculate the fulfillment fees that you're going to be charged, Amazon now takes the heavier of the actual weight of the product and the dimensional weight. If you've not heard of dimensional weight before, then don't worry, you're not alone. It was a new concept for me too. So the dimensional weight, also known as the volumetric weight, that is a pricing technique that freight forwarders and courier companies use in order to estimate the weight of a product based entirely on its dimensions. So the larger the product, the larger its dimensional weight is going to be, and that's regardless of whether it's made out of something really light, like feathers. The justification for courier companies using this new metric is that very large products take up lots of space in things like shipping containers and postal vans, and that's regardless of how light they are. So despite ignoring the concept of dimensional weight for years and years, Amazon this year has jumped on board and now also factors this metric in when calculating fulfillment fees. So when looking up your Amazon FBA fees, don't make the mistake of using the fee rate card to look up what the fulfillment costs are going to be, which will just tell you the cost according to the product weight. You also need to calculate your product's dimensional weight, and if it's the heavier number of the two, use that figure when assessing what your costs are going to be. The best way to avoid making a mistake here is to use Amazon's free fee calculator. Enter in the dimensions and weight of the product that you want to sell, and then you'll be told exactly what you're going to be charged. An important step to take to reduce the risk of what could be a very expensive surprise. Sending thousands of dollars or pounds to an overseas supplier that you've never met before, that can be a really scary experience, especially if you've never made an international payment in your life. Regardless of how much you trust the mystery person that you're about to send your cash to, there are a number of steps that you must follow if you want to avoid getting ripped off and destroying your Amazon FBA business inadvertently. Firstly, make sure that you get a sample of the product that you want to sell from your supplier. If you're going to be ordering thousands of units to sell on Amazon, you need to make sure that the quality is sufficient so that you don't get a ton of refund requests, bad reviews, and a big hole in your pocket. Once you've received the sample and you're happy with its quality, before you go ahead and pay your supplier for your main order, make sure that you get them to confirm every aspect of the order on Alibaba or by email, and that's no matter how big or small the detail. One of the first mistakes that I made when I first started dealing with suppliers was that I skipped this step, which resulted in me having to pay an additional fee for color packaging because the supplier wanted to minimize their costs and give me a plain box instead. So no matter how silly it might sound, getting your supplier to confirm the color of the packaging, the model of the product, and so on, even if it's really obvious because you've been speaking about it at length, get them to write it down in the order summary so that you're covered if things go wrong. And if at any point you don't feel comfortable progressing with that supplier, whether that be due to the sample not being very good or the supplier just not giving you the most confidence, don't let your emotions get the better of you. Back away and find another manufacturer. There are plenty more of those guys in the sea. Whenever you make the decision that you want to create your own business, your first instinct is probably going to be that you should make use of free software, watch loads of free YouTube videos, and cut corners in order to minimize your costs and maximize your profits. But the only thing this strategy is going to maximize is your chances of failure. Cutting costs by taking shortcuts is one of the most frequent reasons that I see people not achieving success with Amazon FBA. Whilst a free product research tool might save you the $50 fee that a premium one such as Helium 10 costs, the reality is that free tools are free for a reason, i.e. they're crap and they'll show you product opportunities with incorrect data, leading you to make poor decisions that's going to cost your business thousands. I have seen so many people try to save a few pennies here and there by doing things like using the manufacturer's poorly designed Chinese packaging instead of their own, or designing an awful logo in Paint, or editing images just using Canva. The result every single time is an awful looking product listing and an awful product that ends up failing. Whilst it might seem tough to do before your business has started earning you any money, if you want to increase your chances of success, invest in the right tools and resources from day one and do things properly. Shoppers on Amazon will notice, your conversion is going to be higher, and you'll make that money back tenfold in the long term. Don't be penny rich and pound foolish when it comes to setting your business up and finding a killer product, because it will come back to bite you. And the same can be said for learning how to sell with Amazon FBA by sifting through thousands of free videos on YouTube. Sure, it is possible to learn the ropes of Amazon FBA by watching videos such as this one, but your chances of success, they are going to be much higher if you get the help of a mentor and enroll onto a course such as the Smashers Academy, which is a program that has been designed to get you selling on Amazon as quickly as possible without making any costly mistakes. But above all, my number one tip to success, my number one secret is stay consistent, keep grinding no matter how hard you think it's getting, and just don't give up on your Amazon FBA journeys. And I promise you, if you can do that, you will make it to the end and you will see success. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. See you next time.